What's up, YouTube? It's the Big Kahuna back again with another video, and I'd like to give a shout out to my homeboy D Nick Elite and Kels. And on to today's video. So, word on the street is everybody's talking about DirectX 12, and I just don't understand. You know, I sat back and I watched the Windows briefing, and I knew there was going to be a powder keg of videos talking about how wonderful this is going to be. And then I was just waiting for it, because you know, with that powder keg of videos talking about how positive it's going to be, then you're going to have the landslide of ponies talking about how it's not going to do anything. It's, you know, pipe dream. This is what I've been seeing, pipe dream, and all this other stuff. Well, one thing I like to say about the whole DirectX 12, which I find very funny, is at first the ponies was talking shit about how it couldn't come to the XB1 in the first place. It can't do it. You'd have to change the chipset on the inside. There's no way it's going to be put on that box. Now, wait a minute. So you guys mean to tell me that you guys know so much about Microsoft and about the APIs and stuff like that? You know so much about this stuff that you didn't think for not one second that when Microsoft was developing this new API, they didn't say, hey, we need to put the right chipset inside this box so we can incorporate DirectX 12 with this. None of y'all thought that. Not a one. But yet, those guys that have been called everything from dummies, racial slurs, and, you know, everything else, were saying maybe they developed this thing to incorporate DirectX 12, and you guys called them a bunch of idiots, dummies, retarded, all kinds of stuff you called. Now it comes to find out that they was right. Go figure. That they was right, that actually DirectX 12 is actually going to be on the XB1. So then once you found out that, oh, they was right, nobody gave them credit for being right, then it became, oh, well, it ain't going to do nothing. Really? First it went from it's impossible to be on there till, well, to, it's not going to do nothing. You see how, and then this is not damage control. This is not damage controlling at all, right? It's not going to be on there. You can't do it. You have to change the insides, the guts of the console in order for it to be on the console. Boom. It's going to be on the console. Well, since I was wrong about that, it's not going to do nothing. So wait a minute. You mean Microsoft had the foresight to put the right components on the inside of their console to incorporate DirectX 12, but they didn't have the foresight to make it to be able to do anything to their console? Now, we know that Sony's not a software company. We know they're a hardware company. But do you mean to tell me that Sony would come out, make a console, put an API on it that would do nothing? Is that something Sony would do? I don't think so. So, then, shout out to my boys at the Tick Podcast. They had an interview with Phil Spencer. Now, the ponies, all the fanboys, went on there and heard what they wanted to hear. Now, I've spoke about this before, how you can get a whole bunch of people and they could see one thing. It could all look exactly the same, but to them it's all different. Everybody interprets what they see or what they hear or what they read in their own way. So you guys heard his interview and you heard it's not going to do absolutely nothing. But other people watched the interview and heard that there's going to be an increase in graphic fidelity. That's what you guys heard, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit from that interview, and I'm going to show you something.
Got asked early on by people, is DX12 going to dramatically change the graphic capability of Xbox One? And I said it wouldn't. I thought, I'm not trying to kind of bring...
Okay, so this is what you ponies heard, that it wouldn't change the graphic fidelity of the console. Number one, who knows what GPU they're using? People are speculating, they're guessing, well, we believe it's using this, we believe it's using that, but it's a custom GPU. So I don't know what it is, and I don't know what the capabilities of the machine is. I know what they put down on paper, putting down one thing on paper, and as other people have stated before, and real world performance is two different things. So let's go on. This is what you ponies heard, that, you know, it will do nothing. So let's go on and see what else is going to hear.
Nice, great. I just, you know, the CPU, GPU memory that's in an Xbox One doesn't change when you go to DX12.
Okay, the CPU and GPU doesn't change when you go to the DirectX 12. And you know, as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure that nobody who's on the XB1 side said this thing's going to magically go in there and make the GPU a different GPU or a different CPU. So none of us ever said that. I know I didn't say that. So let's go on.
DX12 makes it easier to do some of the things that Xbox One's good at, which will be nice, and you'll see an improvement in games through the use of DX12.
You'll see improvements in games. But you guys said it would do nothing. Improvements in games. He said improvements in games, and then he said the XB1. But let's go on.
People ask me, is it going to be dramatic? And I think I answered no at the time, and I'd say the same thing. But it will ease development, and especially for guys that are doing games on both PC and on Xbox, because as those two...
It will ease development on both platforms, PC and the XB1. He mentioned them both. But let's carry on.
APIs, if they're the same, then it's just obviously less work, but for studios to manage the differences between platforms for teams that are doing work on both PC and Xbox One. So I think there's both. There's easier use of the hardware that's in Xbox One or on a PC, and there's just
easier use on the hardware on the XB1 and PC. DirectX 12. Let's go on.
Your common API for guys that are on both platforms, which are good things.
Will there be features that we might not have on the Xbox that will be in DX12 that will be on there maybe later on once it's implemented?
You know, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say features. I think what you'll see, and we saw this on 360 as well, you know, I went back and I was playing Perfect Dark Zero the other day just to look at what a launch 360 game looked like, and there's no disrespect to my friends at Rare, but let's say it wasn't the prettiest game in 360 generation. And then I went and I looked at Halo 4, obviously a game towards the end of the generation, and there's such a dramatic leap that tech.
Now, you see what he just said. From the 360, from the beginning to the end, there was such a dramatic leap. That's what he said. Now, he's going to mention PS4 and Wii U, because they're all going to increase as time goes on with their graphic fidelity and things of that matter. But let's continue, because according to the ponies, DirectX 12 will do absolutely nothing. They just took it, made it up, and they're going to shove it onto my XB1 and everybody else's XB1 just for the hell of it, just to say that they put something on there. But let's carry on.
Guys are able to make through the lifespan of a console. You look at those two games, and it's hard to even say that they were shipping on the same platform, and yet the hardware underneath didn't change at all. And I think we're going to see the same thing in this generation, whether it's PS4, whether it's Wii U, whether it's Xbox One. And DX12 will be one of those things that developers will get better at using, and you'll see just the continued dramatic increase in the fidelity.
Dramatic increase of the fidelity. And you ponies heard what? that DirectX 12 would do absolutely what? Nothing. Is that what you guys heard? See, this is my point. People hear what they want to hear. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff posted in Facebook on, other YouTubers and stuff like that, talking about how, they've found articles that say DirectX 12 would do absolutely nothing. That, there's insiders in Microsoft that says it would do absolutely nothing. Well, there's one thing you got to remember. For all those articles that you find, there's articles that say the opposite of that, that DirectX 12 will increase the graphic fidelity. He said dramatic, that there's probably insiders that will claim that DirectX 12 will do all kinds of good things. But of course, you only choose what you want to choose. So like I said, there's always the yin and the yang when it comes to talking about rumors, speculation, what a game is, what it'll do, what an API will do, what has better graphics, and such and such and such and such. So let's carry on with the rest of it.
And the kind of visual aspects of the games that are out there, and on top of things like physics and other things that, that the studios kind of continue to push the envelope on.
So guys, there's your answer. Hopefully you guys can stop fighting.
So, once again, I'd like to say, where did he say that it won't do anything for the XB1? First you got, it won't be coming to that XB1. You guys are dumb. There's no way you can change the inside. It's too late. Then it's coming to the XB1. Oh, well, it's not going to do anything. Then they do the interview. Then it's like, well, Phil Spencer said that it won't do anything. At the Microsoft briefing, didn't he say that it would decrease the overhead by 50%? So if you're decreasing the overhead by 50%, doesn't that improve the performance? Because that's 50% less work that either the CPU, and I'm not sure about this, or the GPU has to do. So that should increase the performance. I'm not a programmer or anything, but it just makes sense to me. I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure ponies will, or try to. So once again, tell me how DirectX 12 is not going to do anything for the XB1. Is it going to make it like avatar graphics? I don't know. Neither do you. Shit, for all I know, PlayStation 4 will probably have avatar graphics. I don't know. But for you to say that it's not going to do anything is just plain ridiculous. There's no way that Microsoft is going to make this API, put it on the machine for what? For it to do nothing? But, as I always say, fanboys don't love their favorite system. They just hate yours. They especially hate DX12. But anyway, peace out.